Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some deliciously petty people that had the last laugh. These are all from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. We are almost at 100,000 members, guys. Thank you all for sharing your stories. I have content for eons. I'm loving reacting to all of it. Keep them coming. You want us to break up? Fine. My mother-in-law is truly awful. She constantly makes remarks about me not deserving my fiance. When mothers say this, it's kind of like, why? So he would date you instead?
People will pay to see freaky stuff.
What are we kind of like using as a barometer here to judge who is good enough for our children? We are a sort of modern couple, with him bringing in 70% of the money and doing about 30% of the household chores, and me vice versa. It's not an exact math, of course, but we are content with the workload and bill division. My mother-in-law thinks that I should do all the chores and calls my job a small part-time gig that I should be happy to do to help out without neglecting my duties. I mean, listen, if you're old-fashioned and, you're the breadwinner and your wife wants to be at home, or maybe, you got a stay-at-home husband or whatever, I feel like the whole divvying up household duties is fair, unless, you're the only breadwinner. And even then, I still feel like helping out around the house is a full-time thing. It's hard for one person to do all of it themselves. Easier to do when you don't have to work all day, I will say. Fiance disagrees with his mother, but going low contact is difficult when his father is and his sister-in-law, brother's wife, and I have gotten close. Let's just go with what she wrote. I don't really think it makes sense, but okay. So my fiance, his brother, and sister-in-law, and I schemed to have me break up with him in front of his mom and just leave a wake of disastrous consequence to show her. Okay, so we're staging a breakup? Staging a breakup or actually breaking up? What's going on? Let's find out. When she made a remark at New Year's about it being time for him to find a traditional wife, wow, in front of you, eh? The audacity. It's one thing to say that behind your back, but in front of you? The disrespect!
Yeah, man, tell her how it is.
I said she was right and I broke it off. Bunny ears. She was shocked immediately and tried to walk it back. I'm sorry, what did she think was gonna happen? Fiance had a meltdown begging me to stay while my brother-in-law and his wife instigated by asking my mother-in-law if she was racist.
No, look at my dog. He's as black as can be.
They didn't tell me about this part, but it was funny because she doesn't seem to be racist in any real way. Oh, okay, so wait, was your fiance in on this? No, he wasn't. Okay, hold on. She started to panic as I stormed out and my fiance moved back home and has been bugging her to do all the things I do on the daily. Cooking and helping him with his New York time puzzles and steaming his clothes and claiming she owes him for making me leave. Okay, so he is in on it. And ironic too, because she clearly thinks, oh, well, I'm a traditional woman and I would have done all these things for my husband. Okay, so do it then. Do it. He's yours now. So this woman has been calling me nonstop. Begging me to talk, and after just 8 days, she showed up at my work to full on apologize and complete with a confession that blew me away. Ooh, there's more? There's more? I was already happy, but okay. She legit admitted to thinking that I loved him enough to let her say whatever without consequence, and assumed that bugging me would get me to do more for her son so he could have more time for her and time to relax. That's really manipulative and twisted. If she thinks that, you guys are doing too much, he's doing too much, why doesn't she pitch in and help out? Why is she trying to dump that on you? Why is it your job? He currently works long hours, as owning a home is a goal for us, and though I also work doubles, she thinks that customer service isn't as hard as IT.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Even though working with the public is super exhausting. She cried and begged me to take him back and said he was lazy. Okay, so now he's the problem? Oh, I see. Oh, now he's lazy because he's living with her and doesn't want to do anything. Hilarious. When I reluctantly agreed, she promised to leave me alone, and the next day sent me a gift basket with candy in it. My goodness. You are an expert at this. You are petty, my friend. I'm so proud of you. Wow. This is also manipulative, but I'm sorry. In the best way, though. You Uno reverse that. okay? You wouldn't have had to do this if she just left you alone, kept her nose out of your relationship. It would have been one thing if, like, you know, he had expressed to her that he was unhappy. You could see him getting like really, really tired and stuff, and you're not doing enough at home, etc., etc. And she said this out of concern, but she didn't. She said it for selfish reasons. Not because she thought that you could do better or she was trying to make her son happy. She just wanted him to have more time for her. My fiance admitted he started to be extra needy to her on purpose after the second day because he missed me and wanted to drive her crazy enough to get her to apologize quick. I love this. A couple who is petty together stays together. It's very clear that you guys were happy with how things were laid out. You know what I mean? It seems like this was not an issue for either of you. So why is she sticking her nose in someone else's business? God, I'm so proud of you. I love this comment. Weaponized incompetence used for good. It was for a good cause. It was. Never did I think that it was possible that weaponized incompetence could be used for a good cause. I was wrong. I'm not ashamed to admit that I was wrong. We love your fiance, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law for putting on this show. Mother-in-law had it coming. If you don't respect someone, they won't respect you back. It's kind of sad it has taken her this long in life to learn that lesson. I mean, at least she learned it. You know what I mean? At least she apologized, let you have your way. It worked out so perfectly. Like, I love it. Yes, 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 you moved in the shadows. You did. You moved so sneakily in those shadows. You also got everyone to participate. It was a group effort. The amount of secondhand satisfaction I got from this is embarrassing to admit. You deserve a free t-shirt from Charlotte for this one, for outplaying her in her own game and getting an apology. You actually did though. Like, oh my God. Like, you're inspiring me right now. I'm sorry, I'm so inspired. Hey, listen, if you want a free t-shirt, reach out to support@charlottedobre.net. Tell them that I sent you. Cocoa Butter Baby 20. Please do that, okay? I will buy you a t-shirt. Consider it a trophy. I wonder if there's a way to like apply it to daily life, you know? Like if someone is just sort of like being really manipulative, you kind of match that energy a little bit because they're doing it for self-serving reasons, right? So maybe you can make it a way so that it's not serving them anymore. So they apologize to you because otherwise it's bad for them. I really like this. This is delectable. My hero, is she only apologizing because she finally realized that you do a lot for hubby or only because his demand became too much for her? I mean, yeah, that's part of the reason, honestly. Or maybe she just has like a newfound respect for you because she didn't realize maybe how much you're doing at home or not doing, but she doesn't need to know that. Imagine this didn't work out though. Imagine she just wanted him to come and live with her, you know? But still, you know, you had him like in on it. He was making it really difficult for her. Like it's chef's kiss. Like it's amazing. You beat me at my own game, my love. A woman I've never met got petty revenge on my behalf. This is a short one, but oh, so satisfying.
That's what she said.
In the summer before my final year of high school, my mother kicked me, female 17 at the time, out of my home. I was a good student, in the running for valedictorian, had a part-time job, and was generally well behaved, but my narcissistic mother basically found fault with everything I did and started seeing me as competition the minute I developed. Mothers who are jealous of their daughters and mothers who are jealous of their sons' girlfriends or wives are a special breed of people. It's so weird. Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Well, I moved in with another relative, went completely no contact with my mother, and stayed at the same school. This was a little awkward, as my younger siblings were also attending this school, and my mother was in the PTA. For those of you wondering, is OP's mother a Karen? Just know she was very proud of being in the PTA. She's one of those, eh? That's all you need to say. So in other words, she was a Karen. On the first day at school, I informed a few classmates of what had gone down over the summer and the reason I was basically uncontactable for 6 weeks. I didn't go into great detail at the time, but I do remember mentioning one thing. As soon as my mother caught wind that I found someone else to take me in, she emptied the contents of my bedroom into garbage bags and dropped them outside my new home. Ooh, little aggressive. At least she dropped them off. She could have made you come pick them up. Fast forward a couple of months and my classmate gives me the petty news. After the first day of school, she had gone home and told her mother about the garbage bag story. We'll call my classmate's mom Mrs. D. Mrs. D, who also worked in the PEA, was appalled, but didn't initially make the connection that garbage bag mother was Karen from the PTA. I have a different last name to my mother, so I understand her not realizing. At the time, my mother held some sort of position in the PTA and was trying to get elected into a position of higher authority. Interesting that she thinks she's such a good parent to be a part of the PTA, while at the same time, kicks you out of the house at 17, boots you out of the house, really. My mother tried to solicit Mrs. D's vote by telling her our kids are in the same advanced class. This is when Mrs. D realized that PTA Karen and garbage bag mother were one and the same. So wait, she's bragging about you being in the same advanced class? You're the one in the advanced class? But she doesn't want you to be living in her house because she cannot stand the sight of your knockers. This is funny. You're funny. Mrs. D then quietly approached to everyone who was voting in the election and repeated the garbage bag story. Not only did my mother lose the election, she also lost her original position on the PTA. Why is this woman making choices for other students and other kids when she clearly doesn't know how to make the right choices when it comes to her own kids?
I mean, who the hell does she think she is?
All of this was relayed to me by my classmate, who seemed to think it was no big deal. To me, it was everything. I'd suffered my mother's cruel judgment for years, to the point that I fully believed that I was the problem child. And it was so cathartic to find out that other parents thought this was unacceptable. I mean, yeah. This is a really good example of what a bad parent does and what a good parent does. I guess word also got out to some of my teachers because after that, they helped connect me with services and made arrangements to help me manage school with my new living situation. Mrs. D, wherever you are, thank you. A W in the chat for Mrs. D. Nice to know that there are good parents out there, but we knew that. We knew that, okay? I love how you also didn't even need to do anything. You didn't need to do anything to feel like someone who had wronged you got what they deserved. Karma, working in the shadows. Charlotte will be so proud. I am proud. I'm so proud I put proud in the title of this video. P.S. Is it just me or has everyone started to quote Charlotte? Oh. As soon as we've identified with her as a recovering people pleaser, shocked at how far other people will go with the audacity of their questionable self-inflicted embarrassments, while applauding a restrained but justified petty potatoes supporting and protecting a friend in need, standing up, welcoming our stories, helping us see it's okay to walk away from a toxic environment, and helping us mediate am I the a-hole, while shushing a true bridezilla, confirming we're not wrong about our red flag instincts. Basically, depending on your age, the wisdom of a favorite aunt, a supportive big sister, a bestie to spill the tea with, or a precocious little sister laughing at our petty gasted flabbers, bringing us together to lovingly scold when we cross the lines, but supporting us by giving us suggestions on how we could have handled it better. That's so lovely. Oh my goodness. Or in my case, she's my drunk spirit animal causing me to laugh out loud. And giving me some drama to share with friends because I don't really have any of my own, and spilling someone's tea is firmly immersed in female DNA. Keep up the good work. Thank you, I will. And if Mike makes you laugh a lot, then you're a good one. So install a bigger fence and buy better food. Don't let his dog get away. Thank you, Anonymous. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you for the compliment, and thank you for all the funny things you just wrote. That was hilarious. I'm glad that I can be your funny favorite aunt slash big sister slash bestie on the internet. So I kind of want to do this just because I'm dealing with someone like this in my own personal life, and I'm looking for inspo. So if you guys don't like, like narcissist psychology and all that stuff, like it's one thing to have a narcissist in your life, but it's another thing to like kind of not be able to go low contact with them and needing to find ways to like deal with it, right? Which still allows you to keep your own sanity. I'm doing this for me because I'm selfish. But hopefully you guys learned something too. My psychologist told me my petty revenge was the textbook perfect way to cut off a narcissist. My ex is a classic narcissist in disguise. It took him 3 years of pretending to be normal before he let the mask slip. Once he was bored and realized he couldn't easily manipulate me, and it got very nasty very fast. I won't get into all the terrible things he did or said. It's been said before by countless women out there, and it's not worth rethinking it when the rest of this story is much more fun. Good. There were a few little petty things in the immediate aftermath, such as going home an hour into my workday to empty out the house of everything I had ever paid for, which was 90% of our stuff. I'd found out that he hadn't been paying my health insurance for 3 months, which had triggered a realization that it was probably no longer safe for me to live with him while we sorted out logistics as originally planned. So that day of sweat and rage packing had him left dumbfounded and scrambling, because an empty home that is empty save for a sofa is dust and not a good look to prospective dates. But the best fun came about 2 months after that. I had suspected that he had cheated in the past, but not at the time it ended. It was 2 months post-breakup, and we were being somewhat amicable, as I was awaiting him to repair some damage in our rental house, so the real estate agent would release me from the freshly renewed lease. He had moved in with a new woman 5 weeks after we split. Not a surprise to me. The man needs to be fawned over to survive. That type, eh? I'd had some further petty fun when I had threatened to move back in when he had slipped on keeping up the rent payments. He didn't want to give up the beautiful house and agreed to pay it all. I had just paid the equivalent of notice. But overall, we stayed friendly for his daughter, and I had feigned some empathy when he lost his job unexpectedly. Then, out of the blue, I got a Facebook message from a person whose name I knew. Let's call her Belle for reasons that will be clear. But I'd never met her. She was his co-worker out of state. He was 40 at the time and she was 22. And her message was basically a flood of information and apologies for having an affair with him and breaking us up. Did she break you guys up? I thought that you were just done. He had been schmexting her across state lines and even faked a work trip and paid for flights to go and smell her. Despite me paying bills for his car and child because he was broke. Oh, the audacity of this man. The gist of Belle's message was that he made her fall for him. She ended her 4-year relationship to be with him.
You're kidding me, right?
Then he stole money from his work, dumped her, and got them both fired by implicating her in the theft. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just a person through and through, eh? I'm grateful that you got out of there, man. Then he had, of course, moved in with a whole different woman 2 weeks later. An absolute mess of a man, this one. Like, obviously, everyone's like, how could you be with a narcissist? How? They have two sides to them. A lot of the time, when they're hurting us, they're also doing things that are nice, like really nice, like love bombing and saying all the right things and, you know, just like confusing you, right? There's this thing that happens when you're dealing with a narcissist where it's sheer and utter confusion. Because on the one hand, what they're doing is really straight up mean and abusive. But on the other hand, what they're saying and maybe what they're doing to make up for the things that they're doing is so nice. So that's a good way to tell if you're dealing with someone who's like this, okay? Confusion. Because you feel conflicting emotions, like you feel guilty, but at the same time angry. You're dealing with a narcissist. I told Belle she didn't owe me anything, and she needed to worry more for herself and maybe her ex if she thought that was something to repair. I basically told her, you're young, just learn from this, and one day it will all be just a fuzzy memory. I then told her I wanted only one thing from her: information. I asked, at what date did your communication with him switch from friends to more? Belle's answer confirmed what I knew. This trifling man cannot end something without securing his next move, and his next schmexually charged dopamine hit. It started up with a text fest with her 2 days after we had signed a refresh on our lease for 12 more months. He had attempted to trap me into funding the rent, and when he couldn't, with every plan to break up with me. It was classic calculated and evidenced financial abuse, especially when you add on failing to pay the health insurance of a partner with chronic illness who is sending you money each month to pay for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I went from amicable to red haze fury at that moment and began plotting some very quick moves to ensure I never had to speak to the man again. I thanked Belle for the info and further encouraged her to move on with her life. See, this is the good thing about moving in the shadows, right? Because when you move in the shadows, you can accurately kind of figure out what your next move should be. Before this, you were kind of amicable and fine, but after knowing this, probably benefits you to know that he's doing this. Keep your cool, friends, move in the shadows always. I then contacted the real estate agent and told them I was giving them 3 days to inspect the damage repairs and sign off the lease change. they'd been dragging their feet. Or I would go to my psychologist and get the paperwork to be removed anyway under fairly new domestic abuse laws, citing financial abuse, only of course I wasn't out to make up lies. The real estate leapt into action the next day. Oh, I love it. See, because you're watching the laws and what you can legally, like, you're doing your homework.
I've memorized this book.
You're understanding what you can legally do and what you cannot do. God, I love knowing a law that someone else doesn't. It's just, knowledge really is power. Because I love being right. And at the end of the day, people can be mad at you, they can screw you over, they can do all manner of terrible things to you. But if you are legally in the right, technically they can't do shit. God, I should have been a lawyer.
Consider it done.
I guess paperwork and seeking legal advice on new legislation is never worth it for agencies like this. I'm not sure what they told him to get him to agree to the inspection the next day, and I was shopping for groceries when they emailed to say I was officially off the lease. I literally put my half-full grocery basket down and left the store, drove home, and went into action. I wiped him off every social media channel. Block, delete, block, delete. I even tackled the ones you don't think of, like LinkedIn and my unused Tumblr. Everything blocked except his phone number. I then messaged all my friends to tell them we were no longer amicable. He was a liar, a cheat, a thief, and while I wasn't going to tell them who to keep as a friend on social media, I would appreciate it if they never breathed my name in his presence, let alone responded to any queries he might have about me ever again. They were great about it, by the way. With going low contact or no contact, ideally, even just like hearing about them or them fishing for information about you, they're still kind of like feeding off of it, right? They're still kind of affecting you. They're affecting your energy. If you're going no contact, that means no contact. No more asking about them. No more looking at them on social media. I don't even want to hear their name come up in conversation, ever. I literally don't want to know. I then went to the local post office and sent him a single package with 2 items in it. 1, the necklace he bought me for Christmas. Good, very good, because he could have tried to get that back legally. So it was super obvious I had sent the package. And 2, a single Lego minifig of Belle from Beauty and the Beast that I had ordered express from eBay on the day I found out about his little affair. That tiny doll was a simple message portrayed without a word. I know about Belle. I know how you lost your job, and if you so much as utter a word in my direction, I will tell everyone, including your long-suffering parents, that your employer sacked you for $5,000 of theft, not whatever dumb excuse you gave them. Ooh, that's good, because you're attacking their reputation. They're all about appearances. So when you threaten their facade, that's how you get them. I love it. I knew that the subtle knowledge that I could tell his parents would sting the most. His dad is the only person on the planet he respects, which I know because he's the only person of any gender who was never the subject of my ex's constant, prolific mansplaining. I received one text message from him the day he received the package. It said, "Your stuff is in your letterbox." Ooh, he does as he's told. That's good. He'd returned both items, which I tossed in the trash on my way back into the house, grinning from ear to ear. Oh, I thought he returned like your things. Oh no, he returned the little gift you got him.
This'll teach her. I don't want her stuff.
His acknowledgement of it meant that I had got to him and that he had been dumb enough to show it. It was a cherry on top I didn't even expect, and I walked right into the house to celebrate over a whiskey with my new roommate. My ex hasn't spoken a single word to me in the 5 years since. I know it kills him that he would have to jump through hoops to keep track of me these days. And whilst he might tell future victims I'm crazy, my complete lack of presence or interest in his life makes that a lie hard to maintain. My psychologist told me I had handled him in a textbook perfect way for cutting off a narcissist, and she was super proud of me. I was proud of me too, and it's been fun to finally tell my story. I am also very proud. I'm just proud of everyone. I'm so proud of you. Demi_guys. Note, I left out a lot of things and changed some details to keep this as private as possible, because the woman he moved straight in with is by all accounts lovely and eventually escaped with her own trauma, I'm sure. I only found this out through mutuals as I blocked her right along with him for my own sanity. Girl, if you see this, I never hated you. I moved on from him so fast I only feared what would happen to you. I hope you're doing great. Oh, that's so lovely. I also developed a friendship with a couple of his exes who were total saints in helping me through it, and his daughter has stayed in touch. She's grown up so wonderful. Note 2, my life is infinitely better now, and the shift started within days of our split. Says a lot, doesn't it? It does, and you know why? It's because you gotta picture narcissists as like a succubus, a leech that's just on you, feeding off of you, feeding off of your energy. And it's not even just narcissists. It can also just be people in your life that are draining. When you're giving all of your precious energy, your creative energy, your love, whatever good energy that you have to give, it's amazing how fast things will shift when you cut off that parasite. Less than 1 month after the breakup, I got a job and doubled my salary. The effects of which my ex's jealous, unemployed eyes got to see in real time in the weeks before I cut him off. I moved to a whole new city 6 months later, and I've been with my current amazing man for nearly 3 years. He treats me like a princess. I'm so happy for you! God, I love this for you. This story is so underrated, but I appreciated every moment. Thank you for sharing. And anyone who's dealing with a narcissist, take note. Saskatchewan!